Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Holy Interruptions. I'm Pastor Brandon,
And I'm Christine.
and we're glad that you're here spending a part of your Sunday with us. Some churches are talking about stewardship today,
Some churches are talking about prayer.
and we're asking whether Ezekiel accidentally described a UFO.
Of course we are.
Before we dive into spinning wheels and strange beings and biblical weirdness, we want to take a moment and acknowledge something really important. Tomorrow begins Pride Month, and as many of you know, Radiant Refuge is very proudly and unapologetically affirming of our LGBTQIA plus siblings. This month we're actually participating in two prides, one here in Newcastle, Pride in the Park. We're excited to partner with the Prism Initiative, who is hosting, and I look forward to that. I'm actually going to be speaking as an educational speaker as part of that part of programming, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then the second one is the Full Spectrum Pride in the Valley in Warren, Ohio. It's our first time being out there, and I'm really excited about that one. Both of them are going to be fun, but the new one being out in Warren, Ohio, we get to meet all kinds of new people.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that strangers are just friends I haven't met yet, which is probably why I'd end up getting kidnapped in one of the vans offering free puppies.
Now remember, and we certainly do, pride means different things to different people. Some people, it's very much a time for celebration and parades. For others, it stands for healing.
Yeah.
So we are sensitive to that. It's a reminder to people that they're not alone. And we ask that others respect that if you're watching these videos.
Yeah, and to go on top of that, questions are welcome. Conversations are welcome. Disagreements are even welcome. What isn't welcome is hate. We don't want that. Don't put it in the comments. Don't come at us that way, please. If someone wants to discuss scripture, theology, church history, translations, interpretations, my inbox is open. It's on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page. Please email me, message us on either one. We are happy to talk about those things. We're just not going to provide a platform for harming people.
All right. So, with that being said, you want to talk about some gigantic eyeball wheels?
Yes, we can.
Now, just as a preface, you guys will see us looking over here a lot, like the beginning where we were giving our official announcement. But we have our notes over here. And because we do both have ADHD, sometimes we lose track. So a lot of times we're reading, hey, don't forget to mention, and answering it and just randomly staring at this. So apologies if we look like we're reading a script. I can assure you we are not following a script. I don't entirely know what he's going to say. I just know what topics I want to make sure we touch on. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I know scripture, but I don't have the entirety of the Bible memorized. So you're going to see me pull the laptop over to actually read the scripture, because I want to make sure I get it right. And, I have some sentences worded and some quotes, and I have them written down because I want to make sure that we get them right, because I think that's just the appropriate way to do things. So, yeah, we do have some notes, but like Chris said, it's just to make sure we hit the points the way we want. So, today's question, though, is simple. If many biblical encounters happen today, would people interpret them differently?
Yeah, I would think that for most of us, if somebody ran over to your house and said, "Oh my gosh, I just saw a glowing figure descend from the sky," that our first instinct would not be, "Oh, it was an angel."
No, I think our first instinct would be, did you get it on camera? Like, let me see this, right? And that's the thing. Ancient people interpreted extraordinary experiences through a spiritual language. Modern people, we often interpret things mainly through like a scientific lens, I guess. You see the videos and you have to analyze what's there, and the scientists analyze what's happening with like camera distortion and all that. Paranormal investigators, which, that always fascinates me when they go in and do the EVP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like some of the stuff that, I mean, I don't know how true it is. Like, you see it on TV, the shows, and you wonder how much of that is produced, but what if that is actually real and those voices? Like, how do we interpret that? How do we handle that?
Right.
So yeah, we use different language because like back in the time of Ezekiel, when those things happened, they didn't have the exact scientific language that we have now.
Yeah. We could always just post it on the internet and ask random strangers what they thought of it.
Oh yeah, Reddit's a great place for that, isn't it? Mm-hmm. The point isn't whether like aliens exist. The point is how humans explain the things that don't fit inside their normal understanding of reality. So we're going to take a look. This is like the longest scripture reading of the day, and I apologize, but I wanted to use this because it's got some really cool language in it, and we want to talk about it. And this is Ezekiel, very first chapter. This is like right out the gate, Ezekiel chapter 1, verses 4 through 22. I looked and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal, and in the fire was what looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form was human, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their legs were straight, their feet were like those of a calf and gleamed like burnished bronze. Under their wings, on their 4 sides, they had human hands. All 4 of them had faces and wings, and the wings of one touched the wings of another. Each one went straight ahead. They did not turn as they moved. Their faces looked like this. Each of the 4 had the face of a human being, and on the right side each had the face of a lion, and on the left the face of an ox, and also had the face of an eagle. Such were their faces. They each had 2 wings spreading out upward, each wing touching that of the creature on either side, and each had 2 other wings covering its body. Each one went straight ahead. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go, without turning as they went. The appearance of the living creatures was like burning coals of fire or like torches. Fire moved back and forth among the creatures. It was bright, and lightning flashed out of it. The creatures sped back and forth like flashes of lightning. As I looked at the living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature with its 4 faces. This was the appearance and structure of the wheels. They sparkled like topaz, and all 4 looked alike. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. As they moved, they would go in any one of the 4 directions the creatures faced. The wheels did not change direction as the creatures went. Their rims were high and awesome, and all 4 rims were full of eyes all around. When the living creatures moved, the wheels beside them moved, and when the living creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go, and the wheels would rise along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. When the creatures moved, they also moved. When the creatures stood still, they also stood still. And when the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels rose along with them, and because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels.
Okay. Whew.
I know, it's a lot. And sorry, I apologize. Boo Boo's in a licky mood, so if you hear slurping, I will do my best to edit that out, but I hope I can. But if you hear it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he loves to lick our hands. Weird
Yeah.
dog. So let me summarize.
Yes.
From what I see here, there's fire.
Mm-hmm.
There's lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Glowing metal.
Mm-hmm.
Creatures covered in eyeballs.
Yep.
Wheels inside other wheels.
Uh-huh.
Spinning. And this is normal church stuff, huh?
Yep. No, I only read a portion of Ezekiel 1. I definitely recommend reading the entirety of it. It is so good. There have been some who have said that Ezekiel may have gone on one of those spirit trips, like literal trips with like some mushrooms or something.
Okay.
But it's weird, right? And if I can't imagine seeing that. And honestly, nobody has ever read Ezekiel and said, "Yeah, this seems straightforward."
So, question. The way I feel about it, alien or angel?
Yes.
That wasn't one of the options.
I mean, and that's kind of the point. Ezekiel keeps saying, and if you, because when you read it, it's almost like poetry, and it was like, or the appearance of, and poor Ezekiel is trying to describe something beyond his experience, using the language that was available to him. If you want to reverse this, like, can you imagine you're talking to Noah as he's building the ark, and you say, "Oh, you can Google that." Well, what's Google? Well, it's a website. What's a website? Like, we have all of these words and all of this language that we've developed over thousands of years to describe, what we see, and poor Ezekiel just doesn't have that.
I get that.
Part of it too, like, it's prophetic vision literature. That's a vision that Ezekiel had, and we'll talk about it more later. But Revelation is kind of the same way, and we'll have a lot of fun there. So, but we'll save that.
Lots of angels, or aliens.
Yeah.
Ancient aliens.
Aliens.
Wow.
I'm gonna make that our thumbnail. I'm gonna put my face on that meme, and that's our thumbnail for this one.
We'll see what happens. I had down here that you wanted to talk about some more about angels from Luke.
Yes. So we talked a little bit. There was what we could assume is angels in Ezekiel's vision. The second one I wanted to look at today is Luke 2, 8 through 10. And you're going to recognize this because I'm going to sound like Linus a little bit here. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people."
Do not be afraid. Don't panic. We come in peace.
Hey, wait, I don't have a towel. Now I am going to panic.
We come in peace. It's aliens.
Well, and that's the thing. The first thing out of their mouth is, "Don't be afraid," which suggests that people were, in fact, afraid.
Yeah. I think the church artwork might have lied to us.
A little bit. Biblical angels are often overwhelming and terrifying. Again, that "don't be afraid" is often what they have said. And there's descriptions of angels like they have eyes over their wings, and like they're terrifying beings. It's what we see, in like. So Grammy had a curio cabinet, and in that curio cabinet were two things: her collection of birds that she got through the Audubon Society, so like little cardinals and stuff, because she loved birds. She also loved precious moments, and she had a ton of those. And they had the little angels, and it's hard to reconcile reading in the Bible what they're actually like compared to all of the imagery. Like even in churches, the angels look like humans. They're not depicted biblically. So when you read that, it's tough to understand. Well, why'd they say don't be afraid? Like there's a cognitive dissonance there because of how culture treats angels.
You say angels? I still say alien.
The shepherds probably answered, along the lines of like, we need new pants.
Great.
So another one that I thought, well, this could be like an alien encounter if you interpreted it right, is Paul on the road to Damascus. This is in Acts chapter 9, verses 3 through 9. As he, Saul, neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" "Who are you, Lord?" Saul asked. "I am Jesus whom you are persecuting," he replied. "Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do." Then men traveling with Saul stood there speechless. They heard the sound, but did not see anyone. Saul got up from the ground, but when he opened his eyes, he could not see. So they led him by the hand into Damascus. For 3 days he was blind and did not eat or drink anything.
While you're reading these things, I'm sitting here. I know because you're reading them, you can't you can't memorize the entire Bible. You don't have enough time.
No.
But while you're reading these things, I'm sitting here shaking my head because I'm like, nope, sounds like an alien to me. Sounds like an alien to me. Bright light. Voices from nowhere. Temporary blindness. Witnesses who don't know what's happening. I mean, this is either the book of Acts or a Netflix documentary.
Now, I mean, Paul interprets this experience as an encounter with the risen Christ, and for good reason. The voice identifies, "I am Jesus, the one you are persecuting." So, there's a little bit of, that's why Saul would believe this. Someone today might experience the same event and interpret it very differently.
That's fair. I think we had on here next, you wanted to read about Moses.
Yeah. This is a fun one. Now, this is Exodus 3, verses 1 through 6. Now, Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, not to be confused with Jethro, who ate a lot of cereal out of a big bowl. I can't have a Beverly Hillbillies reference. Nobody gets that anymore.
No.
Dang it. So Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, "I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up." When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, "Moses, Moses." And Moses said, "Here I am." "Do not come any closer," God said. "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." Then he said, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God.
Alien or angel?
Wrong question.
Oh.
So, let's talk about Elijah for a minute. And this is a quick verse. It's 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 11. As they were walking along and talking together, suddenly a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them. And Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind.
My friend got sucked into a fiery whirlwind and disappeared. Alien. Or angel.
Wrong question.
Stop saying that.
Okay, hang on. Let's talk about Jacob. This is in Genesis 32, verses 24 to 31. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it's daybreak." But Jacob replied, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he answered. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But he replied, "Why do you ask my name?" Then he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." The sun rose above him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip.
Because of his hip. So I fought a mysterious being all night and ended up with a limp.
That sounds a little like 50 Cent. Been hit with a few shells and I walk with a limp. I know, terrible early 2000s reference. I'm sorry, nobody knows who 50 Cent is anymore.
Alien. Or angel.
Wrong question.
Please genuinely stop saying that.
One more here. One more, okay? We're going to talk about Enoch, and this is in Genesis 5, verse 24. Enoch walked faithfully with God, then he was no more, because God took him away.
So if somebody walked up to you and said, "I know a guy who took a walk with God and vanished."
Hey, listen, if you think that verse is nuts, we'll read the book of Enoch together. It's one of the apocryphal texts. It's not like in the Bible. That is such a fun read because it gets way weirder.
Oh my goodness. Obviously, if somebody came up to you and said that, the first thing you would think is, it's an alien.
Yeah. And again, it's not so much alien or angel. And I know, trust me, it's been killing me to sit here and go, wrong question. I don't talk to you that way. But the point is not proving aliens or angels. The point is examining how humans categorize and talk about these extraordinary experiences. Now, there is a lot in the book of Revelation. I had considered putting a bunch of scripture references, but scripture, when we talk about scripture references and stuff, I usually try to save that for, the extraordinary, ordinary times or when we're doing the liturgical services. So check out Revelation. Read the entire book. Seriously, don't like read just little bits. Read as much of it as you can at a time, and read it from beginning to end, because it's super fascinating. But there's a lot of imagery in the book of Revelation.
If I recall, because we covered this last year, we read through it.
Yeah.
If I recall, there's a lot of dragons with horns, bearing crowns.
Oh, yes. What a memory. Great details. Great details.
So basically monsters, stars falling from heaven, flying creatures.
Yep.
It really would. If somebody pitched it to Netflix, we would call it science fiction. It's aliens.
that's accurate. And it's why context with scripture matters. Because Revelation is apocalyptic literature filled with symbolism and cosmic imagery. So yeah, if you were to get Michael Bay to create a movie about the book of Revelation, like, could you imagine the explosion that Jesus would be dramatically walking away from? But yes, lots of symbolism and imagery.
It's still weird.
Extremely weird. Very weird.
Like ancient aliens, I said before.
Aliens.
So when I've said aliens or angels the past couple times, you've said aliens, yes. So are you saying that Ezekiel saw aliens?
No.
Was Paul abducted?
No.
Well, but you said aliens. Okay, so if you say yes to aliens, are angels extraterrestrial?
Also no.
Well, I'm confused.
Would you like me to unwrap the confusion?
Please do unwrap.
So humans have always tried to explain the unexplained. We still do. And ancient people often used spiritual language. Modern people, we use scientific, paranormal, or extraterrestrial language. And the experience may not be changing nearly as much as the vocabulary.
So basically, each generation, or however you want to say it, is using a different theme or a different word to describe the mystery.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
Well, I mean, think about this. Think about your grandparents. As cars were becoming a thing,
Yeah.
more modern, they weren't the Ford Model Ts anymore. Like our grandparents, they got to experience like the cars of the 40s and the 50s.
Yeah.
So think about their experiences and how they talk about them compared to now. Like my grandpa and grandma, none of my grandparents are here. Papa did live long enough to see like computers and smartphones and like the beginning of that technology. Mm. I can't imagine what it would be like for him to go from like nothing to seeing this new, like, I can't imagine, and his language.
Yeah.
Like it would be so much different than how you and I communicate it. So I think that's kind of the best example we can use, just our personal, even in a couple generations, the difference in language and whatnot. That thousands of years difference is going to, have some disparity in between the language.
Yeah. I don't know that they came here expecting to hear about angels and aliens and wheels with eyes and revelation and all of that before lunch. I certainly didn't.
Sorry about that. It was when you brought up the idea, because this was not my idea. This was Christine's idea. Same with the zombies last time. Like that was Christine's idea to like talk about them and challenge me a little bit. Like how do I explain these things and how does it work with faith, even coming from someone that doesn't believe. So I enjoy these. These are a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have enjoyed being along with us on the conversation. Just a reminder, I know we said it when we opened, Pride Month does begin tomorrow, and that's such a big part of our community. I'll be doing some writing. You'll see it posted on our Facebook page about Pride, and I don't know. I think we'll try to feature some history and some local LGBTQIA plus leaders.
Okay.
So follow our page. We'll introduce you to some folks. And a reminder, like, we will be at 2 Pride festivals. Please stop by our tent. Christine has, I'm going to brag about her, and I know she's going to get really embarrassed here. She made a new banner for our tent. She has a new banner for the table. This year's a little different. I have 2 books that I'll be having there. You can buy one, and I can sign it for you if you wish. But that's new. Like, I didn't have those last year. I'll even have a QR code so you can pre-order the 3rd book that's coming July 5th. But come and see us. If you haven't met us in person, we want to meet you in person. Like I said, strangers are just friends I haven't met yet. Fair warning, I know to ask ahead of time, but I'm a really big hugger. So don't be afraid if I say, hey, do you want a hug? Like, I give awesome hugs, and I enjoy them. So if you need a hug, stop by. Like I said, we'd love to meet you. We want to get to know you. I am working on a possibility of doing an outdoor service later this summer. We had someone offer the space, working on coordinating that. So when we get details, we'll let you know. But keep us in your thoughts and prayers that this can work out, because I'd really like to do that.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Even if you spent this entire episode wondering whether Ezekiel invented science fiction, we're glad you're here, and we hope you're glad to be here.
Exactly. Just a couple of program notes. Next Sunday, we will be back to Extraordinary Ordinary Times. I apologize about Pentecost. I put my back out. It's still out. I'm trying to get that corrected. It's been rough. Turning 44 this year. Like, I haven't even gotten there, and I'm starting to fall apart. But we do apologize. I really did want to do a full liturgical celebration for Pentecost. And I felt bad just posting my sermon, but I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. But we won't have anything else until Christ the King Sunday, which is way later in the year. So you get a break from the liturgical stuff for a while. But yeah, Extraordinary Ordinary Times will be back next week. Keep an eye on our Facebook page. I know we'll be posting things for Pride Month and different history and leaders, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then this is the awkward part. Could you hit the like button or the subscribe button, or leave a comment? Like, if liking and subscribing isn't your thing, at least a comment. That would help us. That helps us get a little more visible in the algorithm. Same with our shorts series. On Tuesdays is How Pastors Write Sermons. On Thursdays is The Sermon. I pull a Cards Against Humanity prompt card, and then I pull an answer card for my Game for Good Christians, and put those together for a little fun. And then on Thursday, I do the sermon part of it. And I know Chris is working on developing her own little series of shorts. Yeah. So it's coming. She's just in the creative part. So just know that you'll be seeing a little bit more of her too. I know she feels like, hey, I'm not as visible. So we're working on evening that out. So she's still known as a part of this. I don't want to overtake it all.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, babe. Alrighty, friends. That's all. We won't beg for likes and subscribes.
We already did.
Well, I meant keep begging.
Oh, I was going to say you. Okay.
No.
All right, folks.
Folks, God, we sound like old people.
That's all, folks.
We are editing that out.
No, we're not.
Who's doing the editing?
Well, sorry, guys, you missed a good one.
No, thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to us that you take time out of your day to watch these videos, watch our conversations. We hope that you learn something along the way. We hope that it's material that you can engage in, that, if you have questions, you can message us and that you feel comfortable doing that. So we will see you next week with Extraordinary Ordinary Times or at Pride, one of the two. We'll see you guys later.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.